do I even say like, hey guys, it's Tori? Obviously, like, don't say I'm back, but like, hey guys, hey. This is weird. Okay, let's try again. What's up guys? This is like my millionth time filming this today. My camera died. I didn't like the first one. Here we are. It's been a while. We'll just say that. I feel so weird filming in front of the camera. And no, before you guys come for my neck, this is not a hey guys, I'm back and then not post for a million years video. I truly am trying to come back. I have a lot more time on my hands right now, so I'm trying to come back. But basically, this video is gonna be a life update / talking about my new job. My dog just came down the steps and scared the fun out of me. Hi, make your debut on YouTube. So basically, quick life update. I am living in Jersey. This video is gonna be sporadic, it's gonna be crazy, it's gonna be truthful, it's gonna be a lot, so grab a drink. I have some water I haven't even opened yet. I'm no longer living in Orlando. I am a flight attendant, which is so exciting. And basically today I'm just going to talk about how I became a flight attendant. I asked on Instagram for you guys to ask me questions that you guys had about the job. So I'm going to be answering those and just kind of talking about what it's like. So here we go. Back in 2019, I applied to a bunch of airlines. I wanted to be a flight attendant. It was always a dream of mine. Who doesn't want to travel the world and get paid for it? And I just am always on the go, and I've noticed that more after 2019, but it was just very fitting. I got denied in 2019 from every single airline I applied to. I didn't have a lot of hospitality experience at the time, so I figured that was probably why. And I decided I would go to UCF and study event planning. That was kind of like my second dream career job, so to say. I started at UCF and I was back and forth between Orlando, Lakeland, Tampa, Lakeland, Orlando, Sarasota. I was just kind of always on the move. I never stayed in one place for more than a couple months. I went back to Orlando in 2021 in the fall. I started classes again. I was going to kind of drop out of school and didn't know what I was going to do with my life, but I went back, and one day, I think it was like the first week of 2022, my uncle called me and was like, what happened to your dream about being a flight attendant? And I was like, honestly, I just started at UCF. I'm doing event planning right now. I was working 2 event jobs. I was an assistant wedding planner for one company and then an event decor designer for another big food and festival company. So I was like, honestly, I don't know, I just gave up and I'm pretty good at where I'm at. But then I was starting to realize quickly that that was not it. I was not happy at my jobs. I wanted more. I knew for myself I needed more. So in January of 2022, I applied to 4 airlines. I quickly got denied from one, but they are a major airline, so I figured. And then the other 3, I got invited to do the assessment. And then after the assessment, about a month after, I got invited to do the virtual interview for all 3 airlines. And basically it's like recorded questions that they ask and you record yourself and talk back. Even with me doing YouTube, it was still so terrifying. I hated every minute of it. I fumbled almost every single word. It was so bad. I was like, okay, that's it. I guess I'm gonna have to stick to event planning and finish school. About a month later, I got invited to a face-to-face interview in Denver for my last pick airline out of the 3. I really didn't want to work for them, but I was like, you know what, it'll be my foot in the door. I need something different. I need something new. I'll just go and do it. But I really wanted to get an interview for my main pick, and I was like, it's probably gonna happen after I accept CJO for this airline, whatever. I was laying in bed one day with my nephew and I got an email and I was invited to a face-to-face interview for my top airline pick. I was so excited because that one was on April 21st and my Denver one was on April 26th. So I was able to go to that one first and see how it was. It was also in Orlando, so I didn't have to travel for it, which was so convenient. I went to the interview. There was about 200 to 250 people there. It was terrifying. We all kind of stood up, said our name, where we were from, why we wanted to be a flight attendant, And then they started calling people for one-on-one interviews. I was kind of part of the second group to go in for my one-on-one. When I got in there, there was like a bunch of tables of people doing interviews. And so I was like, great, these people are gonna hear my answers. They're gonna know how like dumb I am. Like, I was just a nervous wreck. I sat down, started my interview, and we started talking about golf. That honestly, the question that he asked me before we started talking about it, I had to ask him to repeat it because I was like, honestly, I forgot what we were talking about. Like, I forgot what the question was. And then at the end, he asked if I had any questions for him. And I asked him a couple questions about the company. And then he was like, okay, Tori, can you just read this announcement for me? Part of the interview process was to read an announcement so that they can make sure that you can talk clearly, because if you're doing PAs and stuff like that. I did that, and he said, okay, like, I'll walk you out. You're gonna follow this person to this room. And so then I went to a second room, and the lady was like, congratulations. And I'm like, what are you congratulating me on? But thank you. She had me fill out a couple forms, and then I went onto the portal to see, because I'm like, I have no idea what's going on right now. Like, did I get the job? Did I not get the job? And so I went on the portal and I saw it said like, congratulations, we are excited to offer you CJO. CJO is basically saying you got the job if you get cleared for your background, your fingerprints, your drug test, and if you pass training. I went into the room. I was going to do fingerprints, but mine wasn't working, so I had to go the next day somewhere else to get them done. I started my background check. I had a couple issues with that because some of my employers were out of business, and I've honestly only ever worked for small employers. There really wasn't a lot of information, so I had a couple issues with that, but we got that all resolved. On May 3rd, I headed over to our training facility, which was also in Orlando, which was so exciting, and I started training. I'm not gonna lie, training is so hard. It is not for the weak. We were going to class like probably from 3 p.m. to sometimes 1, 2, even 3 a.m. It's a lot. And if you guys want me to make a video kind of going more in depth on our training and stuff like that, I absolutely can. Just let me know. In our training, we had written exams, we had practicals, and then we had 2 finals. You got 2 chances to retake the written exam. You only had 2 out of all of the 12 that we had. And then you were able to redo the practicals up to 4 times. I only had to retake 1 exam. It was such a short exam, so I only got like 2-3 questions wrong and it failed me. We had to get an 80% or above to be successful on the exams, and I think I got like a 78 on that one. If you don't pass the retake, then you are sent home. Honestly, at any point I was like, okay, this could be the end. The 2 finals, one, you have to work a flight with actual customers and perform the whole flight basically. There's an instructor helping you, but on the way back you're on your own. And I did mine actually to EWR. For the second exam, they put you into a group of people from your class, and you basically are put into the simulators, and they say, okay, X, Y, and Z, and they give you all these different emergency situations that could happen, and you have to perform them in real time, in real life, through the sims. And you can pass by being successful on your own, but it's usually like the whole group will either pass or fail. But my group was successful. We had to redo it once, which we were able to, but we only had 1 redo, and we went back and redid it. We killed it, and I graduated June 7th with my wings. Had about 4 days off to move to base. It's a big adjustment, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I am super thankful for the opportunity to become a flight attendant because it has been a crazy dream of mine for so long. But basically that was a quick, compressed version of how I became one. Like I said, if you guys want to know more about the training or anything like that more in depth, let me know. I would love to make a video about it. I asked you guys on Instagram if you guys even wanted to see this video, and I got a ton of yeses. I told you guys to ask me questions, so basically I'm gonna go through the questions now and answer them, and then if you guys have any other questions or want me to do an update video or try to vlog everything, I can do that. I'm gonna go through the questions right now. The first question is there really a height requirement? There is not. When you get to the interview, you have to do what is called a reach test. So you have to be able to reach. For us, they just put a piece of tape on the wall, and we had to reach reach that without any shoes or anything. I would say that there's a requirement, but I had a girl in my class who I believe she was like 4'10", I want to say. So she was very short, like very, very short, and she passed the reach test. We had to do a jump seat test. So basically we had to strap ourselves in the jump seat and make sure that we would fit. So those are kind of like the two requirements that I know a lot of people are like, is there a weight requirement? Is there a height requirement? That's, I guess, kind of how they tell if you meet the requirement. The next question is, are you afraid of turbulence? I'm still getting used to it. In the simulators, we practice a little bit of turbulence, and they teach you kind of what to do if you do experience a lot of turbulence. But yesterday I went to St. Martin, and on our way back we reached a lot of turbulence because there were storms in the New Jersey area, and I will say I was a little scared. I'm not gonna lie, I was like a little fearful, but it's not that bad. Is there a place you don't enjoy going? I haven't gone a lot of places. I've only been doing this for about 2.5 months. A lot of the flights I've been on so far have been, the longest one was like 4.5 hours to St. Martin the other day, so they've been pretty short flights. There's not really anywhere that so far that I'm like, oh, I don't want to come here again. Do y'all get used to the ear popping, or do you wear something to help? We do not. There's really nothing, and since we are in uniform, we're not allowed to chew gum, so I just basically do the whole nose and blow out thing. That usually helps me. I have not gotten used to it. I don't know if I'll ever get used to it. What's the most challenging part about the job? I would say reserve life, which I can do a whole nother video if you want to see on reserve life. Basically, you start off on reserve, which means you have no idea where you're going, when you're going, and you'll get your schedule and it'll show you what days you could possibly work, and then usually you know what time block you're on call for the day before. Also, what's challenging is being relocated. They pretty much ask you at the interview, they ask you so many times, like, are you willing and able to relocate? A thing that my classmates wanted me to touch on was crash pads, which I can try to talk about that. I don't really know a lot about that because I'm not doing one, but I know from what they have told me, it is super hard here in New Jersey to find one because New Jersey really isn't in a base for a lot of airlines. There's only 2 airlines with a base here. Crash pads are basically like, they're not that expensive, and you live with anywhere from like 4 to 12 people. That's like where you stay when you're not flying. Seniority is everything in this industry, I will say that. The next question is, should I get a crash pad before training is complete? I thankfully didn't have this worry, but I've noticed that a lot of my classmates didn't get one before graduation, and then they were kind of scrambling, and a lot of them are staying in hotels and everything. I would say maybe your last week of training, I would start looking into it wherever you're based. I found out where I was based pretty late in training. They were supposed to tell us within the first 2 weeks, but they told us probably in week 3. And I would say just your last week, really start looking, and you can find them, like there's groups on Facebook and stuff like that. How is reserve life? It absolutely sucks. I'm not gonna lie. And everyone will say your first year is hard and reserve life sucks, and it does. Not knowing when you're working, where you're working, how long you're working, all that stuff, it really does suck. My base is doing a lot of turns, which means we'll go there and come straight back. So I have not had a layover, unfortunately. Fingers crossed I get one soon. I feel like reserve life would just have to be a whole nother video because there's so much to it. The last question is, how long is the process? I applied in January of 2022. I started training May 3rd, and I graduated June 7th, and I've been doing it since June 11th. My camera is about to die, and I really want to get this video out. So I'm gonna end the video here. If you guys have more questions or want me to talk about a specific topic like training or reserve life or my trips, anything like that, let me know in the comments down below because I really want to start making my videos kind of about my job. Thank you guys so much for staying subscribed, and if you have not subscribed, make sure you do so down below if you want to come along this new journey with me. If you are not following me on social media, make sure you do so because I post every time I go on a trip on Instagram, Snapchat, all that good stuff. So go ahead and give me a follow on there. I thank you guys so much, and I can't wait to take you guys along this journey with me. I will try to help or guide in any way that I can. But like I said, every airline's different, every person's different, but this is just my opinions and my experience and what I went through. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much. Bye.